a warm introduction. Today, I would like to talk about the issues that we had in the past and how we address them with our partner, Markit, in the procurement process, actually in the IT world. Allow me to first start explaining a little bit what's Alantra. That will give us a little bit of context and help you understand our main issues. So Alantra is a worldwide company that its headquarters are based in Spain. We've got over 500 professionals working in 20 different countries, 24 different offices, and over 35 nationalities. So you can imagine the level of complexity that we manage. Alantra is a young company, but also very stable, and also has become quoted since 2015, which has allowed to establish partnerships with many of the country leaders, and also counts with over 20 years experience. This partnership model, it's great for the business, but gives us a little bit of a pain in terms of managing expectations, because the decision-making processes are not definitely as simple as you might think, okay? A little bit of history of Alantra is that it started in Spain in 2001. It was called differently, it was M+1. And starting in 2010, the international growth started by acquisitions, and starting with a team in Italy, following in the UK, another one, Germany, and Switzerland. We could say that 2015 was the year where everything started to burst, and many things happened all around the world, not only in Europe, but also in LATAM and in different other countries. Actually, in 2016, the company name changed to Alantra, which is now the name. I myself joined the team in 2018, and since there we have tried to implement changes, and also that's why we are talking about the partnership with Markit. As you can see, one of the main pinpoints is the global reach of Alantra. Although it's not a huge company in terms of personnel and professionals, we are present in over 20 countries and over 24 offices. Central Europe, as you can see, is pretty much covered, but also we've got people in the US, South America, and also in Asia that give us a very broad scope for procurement and many other processes. As I was saying before, 2018 was the year when I joined the company. I had the luck to join the team. And since then, we've managed to grow the team by 100%. So imagine the level of complexity that the previous team had to manage. Now, let me explain you a little bit more in depth about the process, the procurement process. How did it happen? And also, what were truly the issues that I found when I joined the company? First, it was the decentralized management. I explained before that Alantra is a partnership, meaning that those acquisitions were part of a strategy by which the different country managers had decision-making power to decide, for example, where and to who purchase items in the IT world, but in some other areas, I mean, as the corporate services weren't that big and also strong, things happen locally, as you can see. Purchases happening in Spain were dealt by the local and corporate IT team, but Paris, Frankfurt, London, Milan made their own decisions. Every country made its own purchases, engaging local dealers. Actually, we could say that that could be a pro because that could help speeding up the process. But from a corporate point of view or from an IT management perspective, it introduced some complexities. First is the different procurement processes. Different vendors have different approaches, different invoicing processes, as well as different delivery times. On top of that, from a management perspective, different models were purchased. I remember that when I joined Alantra, we were managing over 20 different laptop models for a universe of members of 500. That didn't make much sense. I know that you fellow colleagues will understand the issue. And last but not least, different prices were also a challenge because whenever somebody had to purchase something, we couldn't manage expectations. Different countries, different currencies, different prices, very complex. If I could summarize the main issues that I faced when we started to think about streamlining the procurement processes, I think this slide would summarize it very well. So as I was mentioning before, different processes. Buying a laptop in Portugal was completely different to buying a laptop in Switzerland. Lack of harmonization, different models, which also created so much complexity in the IT management, IT security areas. Deadline means this is something that in an environment of investment banking, it's critical because in most instances, you will have people joining the team which are very senior members of the organization, and you need to have everything up and running at the very moment that they start because time is an essence. Multiple point of contact. That was another critical point because the team was not really big and also dealing with different people in different countries and sometimes different languages was not easy at all. No purchasing power. That also was a pain because although we try to concentrate our purchases on certain manufacturers, the truth is that having different dealers in which we made little purchases, a few items a year, didn't put us in the top priority list of them. And also in some instances, price was the main driver. We couldn't have an offering for the different countries that would make the decision-making process be driven by value-added items like, let's try to put in all the countries the same model. Let's try to buy this new model because we believe it's better. Usually price was the main driver. And also, I mean, last but not least, is the lack of control and visibility that we had. As we couldn't deal with all the relationships, the truth is that every different site had their relationship management, and therefore we sometimes couldn't catch up with their purchases. We had to install the corporate platform in a rush because we had somebody joining the team. So it was very complex from our side. Luckily, and I would need to say that by chance, because that wasn't something expected, we met Markit, and I believe that we addressed the procurement process with speed and efficiency. That would summarize it very well. At the very beginning, I would say that we had two key challenges, okay? Not being able to meet the onboarding deadlines. HR processes were streamlined, but we didn't meet the requirements, and that created frustration not only from a corporate point of view, but as well in the employees, where they joined the company and they were eager to start working ASAP, but actually their hardware wasn't up and running. In our sector, that's critical and so important, because also there is rotation in the less senior levels of the organization, and also not having a global approach to procurement. We are a global company, and the senior management and the president have built a global organization, a global platform to address businesses, and that's our marketing, and that's within our DNA. But the truth is that internally in the IT world, and also focusing in the procurement process, we weren't that way. And that was applicable for the whole Alantra footprint, because, as I said, we didn't have agreements that not even cover different countries in the European region, or even, I don't know, in Italy, in Spain, or Portugal, which could be very close. On top of that, process-wise, we weren't global either. Different sites had different processes, timelines, invoicing processes, and so on. So we decided to go little by little and try to achieve a few quick wins. And let me explain you which ones were they. Deadlines, as I said, critical. We wanted to make our HR and future employees happy. So the internal customer was critical for us. To simplify the process, being a very lean team within IT and also in the finance area, we had to change the way things were done. So we had to address process, harmonizing hardware. If we wanted to become a more secure and a more easy to manage IT company, we had to standardize items so we could roll out policies and also new features and functionalities in a safe way without having to test that much. And also we found out that running a pilot in Spain would be the best way going forward. Why? Spain is not only our headquarters, but also has a level of complexity that some other countries doesn't, because although it's a single country, we had different legal entities. So with regards to the process of procurement and also invoicing and all finance-related activities, every entity within the group, which is a holding at the end of the day, had to operate smoothly, and we wanted to see and stress test the market processes in Spain. And I could say that we were successful. Meeting deadlines was achieved. I was highly surprised that we could deliver items, no matter if it was a laptop or any other else, in 48 hours. That shocked us because we were used to get things in our offices, in our premises, in weeks rather than days. We simplified the process. The purchasing process in Markit is so simple. The web interface made our lives much easier and also helped us implementing controls in terms of who could make an assessment of a purchase and then escalate it to a different level of authorization, myself in most instances, to approve it. That was great. Harmonizing hardware, the fact of having so many items in Markit available helped us on that, because not only the amount of SKUs, but also their availability and also the different vendors that could supply the items to us was something that played one of the key roles in the process. And also the pilot in Spain and the different legal entities, over 15, went truly well. We had no issues with the finance department, and also we managed to get everything in a single platform. That was something that we couldn't even think about in the past. So going back to these main issues, let's review if they were addressed. Different processes, not anymore, same process, and also through a seamless interface that matter much to us. Lack of harmonization, no, not anymore a problem. Stock was no longer an issue, and also we managed to buy consistently the same models in different places. Deadlines miss, not anymore. As I said before, we managed to get items in 24 or 48 hours, and also allowed us not to hold stock anymore, which was something that we did and we didn't want to do. Multiple point of contacts, no longer required or applicable. Actually, the Markit support team helped us a great deal, and we didn't have to even have much interaction in this pilot phase and also the very rollout phase. Purchasing power, that also changed. As the dynamics now change, we could, in a single platform, make all the purchases. That help us address some discounts in some instances, but not necessarily our main aim, but give us as well the ability to speak to a vendor and speak about bigger figures, and also could address things like timelines or different models, or get in touch with manufacturers, which was something that we wanted to. And also the price being the main driver, not anymore. We could now offer our fellow colleagues in the different countries something that was easy, that was smooth, and also that worked. Therefore, we could now focus on value-added tasks and not necessarily focus on the procurement process that was also always a pain. And to me, being the head of IT and of the group, and also my team, it has given us full control and visibility. That played a key role, because nowadays we can even forecast what we are going to need. We now know which are the purchases done by different teams, and also understand their behavior. We now know which items have been purchased in every moment in time, and we can go backwards and even check the different serial numbers or whatever. That is something that for us is very important and critical from a security perspective, and also has given us visibility over the purchases that have been done in other sites and locations. As you may know, I have explained, we didn't have much visibility nor control, but nowadays we can also offer them different possibilities if we know that they are purchasing something, but because we will receive alerts on that. So where are we now? I have explained that everything went well, but we have managed to roll out the process to, I would say, most of our European sites. We have agreements in all of them, and we have made purchases in most of them. We have now reached a point by which everything goes through Markit, and you can see that steadily the purchases are growing every year. Even in 2020, which was a very challenging year for us because of the COVID situation, Markit was a great solution because it helped us shipping items to the employees' houses. That was amazing because it helped us with our working from home strategy. And we truly expect to keep on growing little by little through the next following years. And the single supplier approach, this is something that I believe that we have achieved, because not only within the laptops or monitors that was the start of our relationship with Markit. We are also buying more stuff, and we are aggregating all the IT procurement, no matter if it's a big thing or a small thing, through them. On top of that, something that was very important because of the nature of our company was to establish a monthly invoicing process. As I explained before, in Spain, we've got over 15 legal entities, but aggregating all the rest, we could say that we've got over 40. So imagine receiving different invoices for over 50 entities and in different times of the month, and also based on every order. That was very complex to manage. Now we have agreed in a process by which we receive on a monthly basis at the very same date in a single place all the invoices for the whole Alantra group. And also we have achieved to facilitate the local engagement between the Alantra and the Markit teams. At the very beginning, we were in control of the rollout and the pilot, and we took on all the work. But nowadays, we have now a very robust process that is even handled by the different sites, and that has helped us focusing on some other areas. That is about what we have achieved so far, but one of the key points that I want to transmit to you is that I strongly believe that we've built a partnership with Markit, and we will be thinking about new improvements as well as the rollout to different countries. So we have in the roadmap engaging some of the main wholesalers to start using Intune. This is a security tool from Microsoft that we've got in place now. We've managed to streamline and reduce the pain and the time in the procurement process, but we have something yet to accomplish, which is speed up the process when getting items to the user, and also getting items no matter if they are at the office or they are at home, because nowadays, as you all may know, the world has changed. With this in tune and also engaging the wholesalers, we are aiming to ship laptops no matter where, and let the end user to have the laptop ready with the corporate image and all the security policies in place by just turning on the laptop and connecting into the internet. That is one of the key projects that we've got in scope for 2021, and we hope that we will get there with the help of Markit. And also, we want and we will roll out the solution to other countries. I think we are pretty much comfortable with the way that things are in continental Europe, but we need to start deploying the process in the US and also in China. We are aware that will pose some challenges, but we are very much happy about the current state. So we are confident that everything will well. And truly, that was all from here from Madrid. Handing over to Margus.
Hello, Javier.
Hello, Miguel. How are you?
Hello, Javier. Sorry for not being physically together with you today in the same stage, but hopefully we can meet again very, very soon. So really, thank you again. And in any case, thank you very much for sharing your experience with all the peers. And really, congratulations for your amazing presentation. Really, about how Alantra is leading this project and how continuously is getting that live, and how you are achieving all the company goals, really. So I would like also to know a little bit more, and how also is your experience. So if you don't mind, I have some questions Okay?
Yes, please, go on.
So, which are those key points on your success project implementation that nobody should miss?
I think that focusing on the key elements that you want to achieve and reducing them to a few of them. Usually, these projects, and I mean, at least in our experience, that have a global coverage and could also have a high complexity, you need to focus on the real added value. Once that you've got that very clear, transmitting into your partners is, I think, one of the key elements for success in the project that we had with you guys. I think we were very much in line, and I believe that that's the key, one of the key success factors.
Oh, really, thank you. Another question. Many companies consider change management process as a key point in the rollout, mainly for a quick adoption or in their own, also in their own organization, and for the end user satisfaction. What is your experience about that?
Actually, in my background, I would say almost 10 years ago, I was more into the change management consultancy role. And I had to admit that this project with Markit really struck me because while it is important that you communicate, that you engage, that you explain the benefit so people is fully on board, the truth is that the change management in our experience has been very limited. Why? First, I would say because the interface is so simple. It's a marketplace that everybody, I am pretty sure, that we will be able to use. We are all very familiar about buying stuff on the internet and clicking on the items that you want, the number of them, and also then selecting the mean of payment and where do you want it to be shipped. It's as simple as it can be, right? So for the people that is being a collaborator in the process, truly there is no great deal of change management involved. On top of that, for the collaborators that are gonna work in the setting up the different companies, in our case, that was I would say critical because of the number of entities that we had to set up. The training was very limited because it's very simple. In a few screens, in a few clicks, you will have your company, your risk being assessed if you want to have a different payment method. And that didn't require much training whatsoever. And from a process perspective, again, very straightforward. You had your deliveries very quickly, so you didn't have to be worried much about where things were, which is something that happens to us in the past. We had to follow up the delivery process very often. But not only that, whenever you make an order in Markit, you see your the code of the shipping company, and then you can even follow it up online without bothering the relationship manager or any other else. So I would say that change management is required for sure to align everyone and also communicate as much as possible. But in this particular instance, not very intensive.
Really, thank you again. So, and I have the last question. Could you share with the audience those tips to implement a marketplace solution and build a strong partnership?
Yes, of course. As I said, first focus on a few things. That helps at the very beginning. Run a pilot. Things, I mean, work very well if you start little by little. This is something that we wanted to do, and we achieved by starting in Spain and also expanding with all the different entities that we have. trying to know the expectations of the other end of the story. Like you being our counterpart, we had and we wanted to share what our plan was, so we were aligned. You were meeting our expectations, and also getting a regular update from you guys in terms of what could we do if we were missing something. That also plays an important role, and I believe that the figure of the country manager or the account manager is very helpful. So I guess that as every other partnership, I mean, sharing common interests by establishing a fair relationship, and also having a very regular and open and strong communication channel, that I think is very important.
So again, thank you so much, really, for all your words. We really appreciate also the feedback. And again, anyway, thanks, Javier, again for being here today with us, and come back to the main stage in Tallinn. So, Margus, all in your hands again.